What's going on, people? Welcome to United View. Good afternoon. Happy, what day is it today, Owen? Tuesday?
Monday.
Wednesday? Monday. Happy Monday.
It's the beginning of the week, Flex. He's built a chair. He's put a chair together and he's forgotten what day it is already at this point.
I'm going to apologize. I'm going to apologize to everyone before we get into the news. I'm going to apologize to everyone in advance if I make your eyes do a little bit of a madness, because I've got a new chair. I've invested into a chair. Oh, Owen's zoomed in. Don't know what Owen's on. I've got a new chair, yeah. I've built it just now. I had a little £15 fold-up deck chair from Amazon because I just thought, you know what? It's fine. Just get anything. And then I was in a stream the other week, and you guys won't know what stream it is. But about 10 minutes into the stream, the chair literally just folded in. The bit you sit on just collapsed. And I'm like, what's going on? Probably about time I got a new chair. So I thought I'll invest in a proper chair. Oi, now I can see why. Do you know what I mean? This is all right.
Yeah.
It's all right. I know it's a basic thing, but I'm in the club, mate. Happy new chair day, Flex, says Mark Riley. Big up, man. I know people really don't care about this. I'm so sorry. You have come in for Man United news, and you are going to get that and a lot of it. But listen, man, I just got a chair. I'm really happy about this. So if I keep doing that throughout the stream, just tell me off. I just feel,
Don't have to enjoy it, Flex. It's nearly the most wonderful time of the year. If you can't enjoy a chair at this point, what can you enjoy? You know,
listen,
you just enjoy
good for your back, man. My back feels so much better. It feels amazing. I can sit forward. But anyway, just when you think it's going to be a quiet Monday morning, we have got the Premier League meeting happening at 1 o'clock as well. So we knew there was going to be something around that. But Manchester United-wise, it looked very, very quiet. Not much going on. And boom, it's like they went, United View is going to go live at 12 o'clock. Let's give them something to really get their teeth into. Lingard, David Ornstein comes through at the top of the morning, sort of saying that Jesse Lingard will be staying at Manchester United at least until the end of the season. He is going to focus on football. He's going to focus on football, assess his options, and look at it in the summer. Then Samuel Luckhurst and others are saying that Manchester United don't expect Pogba and Cavani to push for moves in the January transfer window, which was, in terms of Cavani, that's in contrast to what we were hearing yesterday in terms of it looked like, not definite, but, you know, there was a real big question mark that it was edging closer to Barcelona. And with Pogba, I don't expect him to go anywhere in January. I never did. I did at one stage, to be fair, but when he got injured and got that long-term injury where he's not playing, then the manager changed. It's not going to happen, is it? It's not going to happen. So Pogba staying put. What's your initial reaction to that, Owen? Oh, actually, before we do that, and Richard Arnold is expected to be announced Manchester United CEO as early as today, potentially early tomorrow, with Ed Woodward leaving that post, but staying in an advisory role. He's staying on. Ed Woodward's not leaving. I remember when I think it was me, KG, some of the other lads, we were live on United Stand at the time.
It was me. It was
you. You was there. You was there as well.
It was one of my first
wow.
ones. It was
so,
me and KG. Yeah.
Me, you, KG in the old school days. We was live on United Stand. Big up those guys as well. And we were live on the stream in the farce of the Super League, and it broke that Ed Woodward had stepped down. And I remember it wasn't in this very chair. It was in a chair downstairs. It's going in the skip. It wasn't in this chair. It was in a different chair. But I remember in this room, I was saying, he's gone. I was jumping. I was going, he's gone. Ed Woodward's gone. I was checking Twitter.
We did a toast.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, we did. KG got drunk and had to leave the stream.
His KG did a shot and then left. He had to do like teacher at school going, "Can I go home, please? I'm not very well."
Oh my gosh, it was that stream. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh mate, that was a good time. That was a good time on United Stand. That really was. And yeah, it was big celebrations. Only to 6 months later, he's not going anywhere.
No. Advisory role.
So there's a lot to get our teeth into, Owen. And we want a midfielder. We're going to back Ralph Rangnick in January. Man United want to hold a midfielder.
Let's to remember it all.
They've given us so much. Everyone remembers KG with his brandy as well, says Kristen.
Yeah.
That was epic, says Mark Riley as well. Owen, start off with the Jesse Lingard thing. Is that a surprise for you?
It is a bit. It is a bit. I mean, I'm not going to be a hypocrite. Last night I was going, he's probably the person I think is most likely to leave. So when I saw that this morning,
big up Cam.
in the group, I hold my hands up. I'm not too afraid to admit that I was wrong or anything like that. Yeah, Cam said that he thought he was going to stay. Flex put it in the group chat as well, saying Cam was right, and you got to give him credit for it. Absolutely. It's like the summer again, isn't it? And that's what I don't get about it. It's like the summer again. In the summer, I think we both said it here on the channel so many times of, why are you staying? And it's not a case of we're trying to push you out the door. You know, I think most people like Jesse Lingard, right? He's good squad depth, but everyone at the time, and it's still the same situation now, of there are so many players ahead of you. You're not going to be playing games. There's a World Cup on the horizon. You had such great form last year as well at West Ham. If you were at West Ham the entire of last season, you'd have gone to the Euros. The only reason you didn't go to the Euros was just flatly because you only had 6 months at West Ham or less than that. So everyone was saying go. And then when it was a case of, yeah, but I want to stay and fight for my place, everyone said there isn't really a place to fight for there. But okay, turns out it's true. There wasn't a place to fight for. He was upset by it because he was like, well, I was told I was going to play or get an opportunity. I haven't. So like we were saying then, it's the same now. Well, what's changed? Now, he's obviously, I think he still wants to leave, but it depends how you look at it. I mean, maybe it's a case of him just going, if he thinks, and this is kind of my thing, and I don't know, this is more speculation on my part, but if it's a case of Flex is frozen Fleck, but we'll carry on. If it's a case of Jesse Lingard where it's like he really wants to go to West Ham, but he doesn't think Manchester United, I got your back.
Sorry, I'm really sorry. I was trying to move my laptop and then the hardwired thing come out. So, and now it's too high. I've messed up big time here.
He's dead, man.
Like now it's too high and it's hurting my eyes. But I'm gonna, just carry on. I'm a mess right now.
I'm a mess. It has one chair, just throws him out completely. My point I was saying about Jesse Lingard was that maybe he's leaving it to the summer because he thinks Manchester United aren't going to facilitate a transfer to West Ham in January. He thinks that's off the cards. So he thinks maybe the only way I can go to West Ham is if I take my destiny in my own hands. I leave it to the summer. My contract expires. I can then negotiate with West Ham. Maybe that's the case. And I think that might be the most likely scenario.
Yeah, because it can't be that he's doing his focusing on football, because he's not going to play. He's not. Exactly. That's not be horrible. He's just not going to play under Ralph Rangnick. He's going to get games like he did in the Champions League, which now actually there aren't any in that competition. Maybe we've got Aston Villa in the FA Cup third round. That's not a game where you just field the second team,
especially this Villa.
So really, when is Jesse? We're out of the Carabao Cup, which he did play in against West Ham. So he's not going to get used too much. 10 minutes off the bench, maybe here or there, if that. So I think it's just get to the end of the season. I'm on a big contract and go from there. But I'm really surprised. I mean, look, if that is true, I know David Ornstein's got a really good track record. He doesn't go big on things unless he's got it from a really reliable source. But for me, I can't see that happening. I can't. I mean,
you still think he'll go?
Sorry. I can see it happening, but I don't think it's. I just can't see why that's been done. I don't know, unless it's just personal and family issues and stuff like that, which you've always got to be mindful of. I understand that, but I just thought Jesse would really want to go. Yeah, maybe West Ham don't want to come and get him now,
or the fact that United don't want to sell him to West Ham because West Ham at the moment are a top 4 rival. Maybe it's just.
But are we not then? Yeah, true. Okay, maybe that. I understand that. King in the Indie says makes no sense for Jesse to leave in Jan when he can get a massive signing on bonus or sign on fee in the summer. I think it's more that, actually. To be fair, it doesn't.
You think
that's what I mean about. It's got to be an issue, because you got to look at. It's got to be something to think about. I think, because think about it like this. How many players are starting to run down their contracts and get the power? They got the power. It's the club's fault for not making them fine. Jesse Lingard holds the cards. I'm not mad at Jesse Lingard in this situation. No, his contract's is getting run down. They haven't put something on the table for him that he thinks he should sign. Yeah, Ollie was very vocal. That's better. Ollie was very vocal when he was here, saying we're working on Jesse. We really want him to stay. We're in discussion, so it's definitely being worked on. But obviously, Jesse hasn't signed anything, so it seems like I think what that person just said there, he's got all the cards. You get a huge signing on fee for whoever he signs for. He's got the power. So maybe he just sees it as I don't need to move right now. I just wait out and get more.
I suppose maybe there is a little bit in that, especially in this sort of pandemic era of football and transfers. We have tended to see that, of course, clubs can't, or it's not financially wise to be spending maybe 20 million on a player. But if they can convince a player, look, if you keep your contract, we'll run down your contract. We can't spend 20 million on a transfer. We can maybe spend like 7 or 8 million on a transfer on a signing on bonus. We spend less money, but you make more money. Maybe it's as simple as that.
Exactly, and that's what I mean. It's like you can't. I don't think that we can look at it and say that it's purely on football, because if it was football, he'd want to play. He'd go and play.
Yeah, he'd be
definitely gone. Yeah. So look, it's Jesse's choice. He's got. This is the problem at Man United, though. When you put players on big wages, they kind of fall out of favor. You don't sell them quick enough. So, i.e., in the summer, you give him reassurances that he's going to play. Which even under Ollie, he didn't play. I know he had a good preseason, and Ollie said when he missed that first game of the season against Leeds, he said if Jesse didn't have COVID, he would have started the season. And who's to say if Jesse didn't get COVID and he started the season, we won. He was a big part of that 5-1 against Leeds or whatever it was, whatever it was, and then he went on to keep his place. Who knows? And the season, but he didn't feature under Ollie. Ollie lied. No. When he came back from COVID, like we moved on a little bit. Ollie was firefighting for his job, and it all went to shit from there. We know how that ended, but it didn't work out. So really, we could have let him go in the summer and give West Ham what they wanted, because they wanted him for what, 25 million, 20 odd million. So
something like that, yeah.
And now it's going to be nothing. So even in January, we could probably still get 10, 12. But again, he holds all the cards.
Absolutely, he holds all the cards, and like you said, I don't blame him. I don't blame him. The only thing I think is curious is, like you said, when you see the story this morning, you just go, it's a bit strange, but there's got to be a reason. Because like you said, if he was purely based on I want to play football, you would want to play football at the earliest possible opportunity, which is now. Because ultimately, I think if a good offer came on the table, or to be honest, an offer came on the table, United would accept it. But Lingard holds all the cards. Even if, say, a Newcastle went to Man United, we'll give you 20 million for Jesse Lingard today. Of course, Man United would be like, yes, absolutely, thank you. But Jesse Lingard can still go, no, I'm not signing it. I want to go to West Ham in the summer. And I think that's the most likely destination for him now. Unless, of course, something could happen when it comes to Europe. I mean, he said that he'd be open to playing in Europe, Italy, Spain, what have you. And he might do well. We're seeing more and more English players go abroad, as they should, by the way. So often it's been so closed off, hasn't it, about not going over to Europe? But now we're seeing it more and more. And who's to say he wouldn't thrive in somewhere like Italy? We're seeing so many English players go out there now, or Germany. I can imagine, I could see him doing quite well, actually, in Serie A or the Bundesliga.
Yeah, he'd suit that type of football, definitely. DJ Richie Sly, says, big up to Owen and Flex from Baltimore, Maryland. Big up yourself, bro. All the way out there in the States. And someone else said, I wanted to get another 3-6. Imran says, 25 million is close to half the price of a good midfielder. Money missed. Yeah, exactly. If we would have got the money that we would have got for him in the summer. And Ranil says, love Jesse, but I wish he'd gone to West Ham last summer. And United says Lingard wanted to fight also last summer. Classic that. Yeah, he wanted to fight for his place in the summer. I just think that it's just played out.
But he must have been given some indication that it was worth fighting for. I don't think it was a case of him going back being like, because if he said, I want to fight for my place, and the manager goes, there's no place to fight for, you'd go. You'd be like, 100%. Okay, fair enough. 100%. But he's come back and gone, I want to fight for my place. And they've gone, oh, yeah, but you could probably get back into the team. He's gone great. Yes. Yeah. Okay, then fine.
Exactly. It's bullshit. Absolute bullshit. On the Pogba situation, I mean, I know that's just a question of practicality. He's not played. The manager changed. Out of form. Yeah. As well. And the suit is probably that big chunk of, here's 60 million for Pogba. Well, he's in the last of his contract, so probably about 50. Yeah, maybe 50 to 60. I don't know. Yeah, we'll see. But what do you think? Is it a case of actually it's good for us because actually we'll come back, and if we can get 3 months out of Pogba with the likes of Cavani, these are big. It's like the circus that goes on. We emotionally check out of it and forget they're actually really good players if we can get them in this system playing really well. Yeah. But you just don't want the commotion that. Well, I'm talking for me. I just don't want the commotion that comes with it. But actually, if there are no suitors and he's currently injured, he has to stay. He's our player. We're still paying him 250 grand a week or whatever we're giving him. Get him fit. Get him in that team. Same with Cavani until the end of the season. It's not about long term now.
I sound like a broken record when it comes to Paul Pogba because I give the answer every single time, and it must be boring to people. But from the beginning of the season, I said he'll see out the season, and he'll see out, and he'll see how it is at the end of the season. I think that's always been his plan. It's always been his plan. It's always his plan was, I'm going to see out my contract at the end of the season. If United are successful, or at the very least they look like, I tell you what, next season, or we're pretty close. We're pretty close to, I don't know, achieving something or style of football we're playing right now. I tell you what, I think we could do something. Then he'll probably stay. But he's just waiting. He realizes this is his last big contract. He realizes he's in the peak of his career, and ultimately, people can say what they want about Paul Pogba, but he wants to win. He wants to win. Now, my only criticism of that has been that, okay, but if you're linked to Juventus, you're telling me what Juventus is going to win the league. They didn't win it last year. They're miles off it.
Yeah, they're struggling, yeah. And they ain't win the Champions League anytime soon.
So, and what, you're going to go to Barcelona? Yeah, because they're going to win stuff at the moment. They haven't got any money. They haven't got any money.
Well, that's where the Real Madrid thing will probably come.
Well, yeah, when you start saying Real Madrid, you go, oh, okay, I can get that one. When you start saying PSG, well, they're going to win their league and their trophies. Whether or not they're going to win the Champions League, I don't know. But at least I guess he would consider those to be trophies as such. I think the situation with Pogba, again, it's always been the same. United offered him a contract. Reportedly, that contract is still on the table. It's always been on the table. Pogba, they just keep looking at it occasionally. And I think Pogba's he'll just wait. He'll just wait till the end of the season, see where we are, see where it is. Because also as well, when it comes to Paul Pogba, he doesn't even know who the manager's going to be next season at this point. So even if he's having doubts about committing anyway, and I know some people are like, well, players should want to be here and they should want to commit and loyalty to Manchester United. I get that, but also as well, we mentioned it about Lingard, mentioned it about Pogba. The loyalty does go both ways. You can't it's like Lingard, commit yourself to the club. Well, I've been lied to like 3 or 4 times, so. That makes it very difficult to commit, isn't it? It does go both ways. And I'm not saying that, the club's been bad to Paul Pogba or anything like that, because they haven't. But I think when he signed with United all the way back in 2016, he thought he was signing with this Mourinho project that was going to win the league in the next couple of years. And it didn't happen.
It didn't happen.
It didn't happen. And I think he's looking at it now just going, I'll wait and see. And Mino Raiola is going to do Mino Raiola in the corner. Just ignore him.
Yeah.
Occasionally he'll just scream and shout and you just ignore him. Ignore that guy.
Yeah, it's I saw Raiola, some of the stuff on Twitter about the comments he's been saying about his other clients. He was like about De Ligt. He was talking.
He's doing
about,
everyone. He's doing everyone about Haaland.
Everyone he's got. Yeah. It was crazy. I was just like, the way this guy just pawns his players around. And look, he does his job. Look, these players go to him. Let's not dress this up here. You get an agent like Mino Raiola because he's going to get you the most lucrative deals. He wouldn't have the biggest players in the world. Puts your name out there. He definitely advertises you. He definitely, finds you the right suitor. You can't knock him for that. He's just a bit of a prat because you don't want him talking about stuff when you're trying to get your club to settle down. You know what I mean? And I'm sure, like KG spoke about it, there's a whole player there in Haaland. There's a whole set of Borussia Dortmund fans that are like, fucking hell, we want to keep him. Or why do we have to hear all this? Juventus fans probably think the same about De Ligt. He's their starting centre half. He's their superstar. Yeah. Centre half, big money, 75 million or whatever they signed him for at the time. So, big players, and he just unsettles fan bases by the way he conducts himself. But he does his job for the players, hence why he always, gets big players.
Yeah, and also as well, I don't think if you're a player, and maybe I'm looking a bit too much into this, but if you're a player, I don't think you sign with Mino Raiola to go to a club and stay there for your whole career. Mino Raiola does deals. No. Mino Raiola does deals, and he moves clubs on.
Stale, he'll move you on, get you another big contract.
Get a big signing on bonus and agent fee for him as well. He's a football agent at the end of the day. Exactly. So he's of course he wants to make deals, because when he makes deals, he makes money. So that's why he's constantly putting people out there, because again, he knows the modern day player as well. They get tired. The very few players stick at one club for their whole career. So, that's what he does. That is what he does. And I think we just shouldn't be I was surprised. It's the boy who cried wolf principle, isn't it? When do you stop being surprised with stuff he says? Not that you should tolerate it, but I guess if you want his players, that's what you have to deal with.
Facts. LYM Pex area. I think hopefully I've said that right. Apologies if I haven't, my friend. Says Flex, I love your work. Talking of Pogba, let's be honest, he hasn't done that much for the club. It's better to let him go next month, so at least we can cash some pounds. Excuse me, to get a holding midfielder. There's talks of us getting a holding midfielder. Samuel Luckhurst alluding to that, sort of saying, Man United want a holding midfielder. They're ready to back Ralph Rangnick. In the same sentence, he's saying we're going to keep Pogba, we're going to keep Cavani. So clearly, maybe in terms of the opposite to what LYM just said, money's not an issue then.
Maybe
in terms of getting the midfielder, unless Martial, he goes for 25, that can go towards it. But Jesse's going to stay, Cavani's going to stay, and Pogba's going to stay. But we're hearing noises from reliable sources that Man United want to back Rangnick and get a midfielder. So it can't be about money.
Well, but that's the thing with United, isn't it? Is that realistically, money's never an issue with Man United. It's not. We have the potential. This is what I always say about owners that would invest in the club in terms of transfers, etc. We're a very unique club in the sense that our revenue is so high. It would be really, really, really hard for us to break FFP because our revenue is so high.
Yeah,
the
what
fact
we bring
that
in
we
as a
can
club.
Spend the fact that we can spend £80 million on a Harry Maguire, not break FFP because we make so much money, and that wasn't money invested by our owners. That was money the club generated themselves. Hardly any other club can do that in global football. No club can. So when it comes to, that's why it's so infuriating when it comes to when we haggle over players for money, but like Jadon Sancho, we spent 18 months haggling over a price, all that kind of stuff. It's so infuriating because we have the potential to invest that money. We just don't want to. We just don't want to because for whatever reason, United, I guess they have their budgets and they stick to them, and that's just about it. So it's not about money. Of course, we could get a defense midfielder in January. I do think, though, you do have to be relatively wise in the sense that we still, I think, even now, do we still have the highest wages in the league? I think maybe, or at least the second. And it doesn't compute with the success that we've had over the last few years, right? Not that wages mean everything, but when you look at the other clubs, their wages and their success, ours is massively off it. And I think because we've been stung by that over the last few years, they're so insistent on getting the right deals and getting the right players. But I did find that funny because it was the other day as well when they said that United, I don't know if you saw, I spoke about it on a video we did here about we're moving away from marquee signings, but we're still looking for cultured players. And thinking, right, so you're telling me the players we bought in the summer were not marquee signings? We signed Cristiano effing Ronaldo. He is the marquee signing.
Bro, like all three of the signings we made were massive. Although Jadon Sancho is a marquee signing, though, he does fit into young British English kind of loads of potential. But they're massive. Raphael Varane, if that's not a marquee.
We signed this uncovered gem. I don't know if you've ever heard of him. Raphael Varane. You ever heard of him? I'm not sure I've ever heard of that one. No, he's never done anything. Oh,
yeah. I mean, these are players we want at the club, of course.
100%.
But to hear the spin of like, we're not going to. But then maybe, in fairness to them, if I just play devil's advocate a little bit, maybe that's where the next batch under Ralph Rangnick signings will be more conventional, more kind of workmanlike. Not saying that Saeed was 100%, right, that it would be these players, but I got what he was saying in terms of players like Nkunku and stuff like that, functional players that Ralph Rangnick knows, Haidara that we're looking at as well at the moment. Players like that aren't household big names. Like the big name to go in fielder's position would be Declan Rice. That's the marquee signing. It would be N'Golo Kante. Obviously, that won't happen. But it would be maybe Wilfred Ndidi. That's quite a marquee signing in terms of his name and how good he is. Maybe not so much so Basuma, but those are some of the names you'd think of. But if we went abroad and got someone like a Haidara or Frank Kessie or someone like that, it would be more of like, we're not getting superstar people who are 100 million.
It's a bit like it's a bit like Liverpool, isn't it? It's a bit like Liverpool, how they've purchased, where you can look at players. I mean, we were talking about it yesterday off air. We were talking about Jota. Like, I remember when they signed him, like Wolves were going, people were like Wolves people were going, we got a really good deal there, 40 million. Oh, thank you very much. unbelievable. Like the way he's
when we signed him, when Liverpool signed him.
Oh,
yeah,
Flex,
I wish we signed him.
He's miles off it today, guys. He literally puts a chair together. Oh.
This chair's got to be. It's because I wanted us to sign him at that time. Obviously, it was before Sancho. We needed another left winger, or right winger, wherever he wants to play across the front. Clearly, we can see. I really like him, and it was such a bargain. And I think they got Thiago at the same time as well. I was like, fucking hell, where are we? I know Thiago hasn't really hit the heights, but at the time,
he would have been a marquee one.
He would have been a marquee. But look, on the players though, to finish off on those before we move on, I just think Pogba, Cavani, similar situations on a short-term contract. Jesse Lingard, he's only got 6 months left or whatever it is, not even that. Why are we surprised? These players will have more teams knocking on the door.
Yeah,
Pogba can get more stabilized. They can have the chance to ask for bigger contracts. They got the power. Why rush? If it's not that I need to play, Pogba can't play anyway because he's got a long-term injury. He has to build himself back up to fitness anyway. Makes sense for him to stay. Cavani, he's got reason to leave, to be fair to him, though. If Barcelona do want him, he's got reason to leave. Jesse, footballing reasons, they all got reasons. He's got more reasons to leave than the other two because I think when Cavani and Pogba are fit, there's a high chance they start for us, especially Pogba, at this precise moment. And I think definitely Cavani should as well. Up front of Ronaldo, I really want to see that. But Lingard has more reason to move for footballing reasons than them two because he's not starting if he's 100% fit. So we'll see. I think we'll have to look at January and see what happens. But I do think it could be there could be some eyebrows raised with some of the stuff that we see. I don't think it's a foregone conclusion that it's going to be a quiet January. I think there could be some stuff going on there. Let's move on. Richard Arnold gonna get announced as CEO. There was talks that when Ed Wood would move, we were like, "Girl, we can go and get what's his face, Van der Sar now. We can go and get someone proper, this, that, and the other." Then we just kind of rejigged a lot of the job roles. Kind of just you have that one, Darren Fletcher, you have this. Do you know what I mean? Do you think the fact that Ralph Rangnick's now here, though, makes it not as bad as before in terms of he's going to go back upstairs, but even though Richard Arnold's still there, Ed Woodward's still there, does that taint what Ralph Rangnick's going to be able to do in the back?
I do have some different opinions on this one. I might not be particularly popular.
Right, I'm here for it. Let's go.
First of all, like everyone else, in the spring, wasn't it? It was when the Super League happened and Edward announced he was resigning and he was going to leave at the end of the year anyway, all that kind of stuff. And everyone was excited. Who's the next CEO, chief executive? Who's the next person to come in? When everyone heard it was Richard Arnold, the managing director of United, everyone went, it's the same. It's carbon copy. It's Ed Woodward 2.0. It's another accountant, banker, whatever you want to call him, in charge. And I was like everyone else, and I was like, yeah, I don't rate it. I don't rate it. It's more of the same. It's a Glazer yes man. I get it. The only thing that kind of gives me a little bit of hope about it is, like you said, with this Rangnick stuff that's happened recently, is that we have heard these reports of Richard Arnold basically saying to people, look, yeah, I'm a banker. I'm a businessman. I don't know tons. I know about football, but I'm not a football expert. So it's stupid. It's stupid of me as someone that isn't a football expert to try and dictate what happens on the football side of the club. You can leave it to me to do the business side of that. I'm good at that. But as a good executive and as a good leader of this business, I guess, it makes sense for me to delegate. The best leaders delegate, and I'm going to delegate these footballing responsibilities to a football person that can make some football decisions, that being Ralph Rangnick. So I'm not totally against
that makes sense,
it.
Though.
I'm not totally against it in the sense that if these reports are true, that he is willing to delegate and he's not going to be like Ed Woodward has been, in the sense where he's like, I control everything. I know everything. I'm the expert on football. I'm the expert on business, all this kind of stuff, which we can talk about managers to the cows come home. We can talk about David Moyes. We can talk about Louis van Gaal. We can talk about Jose Mourinho, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, now Ralph Rangnick. The biggest point of failure in the last 10 years or so has been Ed Woodward. He's the guy that's overseen all of this failure on the pitch. I'm sure off the pitch, Man United have made loads of money. Great. But his failure has been on the pitch. And that's because he is not a footballing expert, but he's been making football decisions since day one when he became the CEO. If Richard Arnold comes in and says, You know, I'm not a football expert. So Ralph Rangnick, you can be the sporting director. I'll be over here making deals, getting new sponsors.
Staying in my lane.
Staying in my lane. Again, being a good leader and delegating and saying, Ralph Rangnick, you can be in charge of recommending the new manager. You can be in charge of recommending players for us to sign. I don't want Ed Woodward overseeing scouting. I don't want to see Ed Woodward going into the changing room after the game and talking about how players are playing. What do you know? Like, imagine Cristiano Ronaldo's getting changed after the game, and he's like, "Oh, I didn't play that well." And Ed Woodward comes in and goes, "Oh, you maybe need to up your performance levels." You tell him to piss off. Like, who are you? Who are you? Like, I guess I know
I'm the guy who pays your wages.
Yeah,
I'm the guy who pays your wages. I can have a say.
Yeah, but I'm CR7. Who are you? Who are you? Well, you got to put the ball in the back of net. Yeah.
I brought record revenue into this club.
Yeah,
and what stuff that pays you.
Yeah, you got to put yourself on penalties now, are you, as well? Oh, great. You know, so if Richard Arnold is willing to delegate and saying to Ralph Rangnick, football side of the club, if you're willing to do it, then I'm okay with that. I think people that would have wanted Van der Sar, was that ever a realistic possibility? I would say, don't let the hope kill you. That's the thing. Of course we want Van der Sar to come in. Look how much he's been doing at Ajax. Was he ever linked? Realistically,
no, not properly.
No. Don't get hope so.
Rio Ferdinand said he'd do it at the time. Do you know what though? What you're saying doesn't sound that crazy. It doesn't, because I think all we want at Man United is the right people doing the right jobs. That's just such a basic, for a massive football club. It shouldn't be difficult for the best people to be in the correct jobs, doing the correct job, doing their rightful job description. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. And we want the best in class, from management to chefs to the coach driver to the players to, do you know what I mean? To CEO.
Libs. Very good at it.
Do you know what I mean? To all the coaches, to everything. Man United should not have anyone learning on the job. And actually, Ed Woodward, look, I think he's done so much, although and this is where I maybe kind of differ a little bit to what you said. Well, only in terms of Ed Woodward, I do think he should leave.
Oh, yeah, completely. I think he should leave.
Yeah, he should leave. Even though they could say, we want to go back to what we're doing, and that's, I'll get Ed just doing the commercial side. And, now we've got Ralph doing the football thing, Richard Arnold's going to fall back and do this, that, and the other. You don't get to F up as much as you did, and your reward is you don't lose your job.
It's crazy.
I don't know. Maybe that might sound harsh. I'm not saying strip him of all his money so he loses his job and can't feed his kids. He'll get another job. I don't mean it like that. I mean it in terms of he's overseen, like you said, so much failure. You don't get to just quietly just go back into office number 8 down the corridor on the left instead of the big corridor and just keep out of people's way and go back to nah, mate, nah. I just feel like we just need the best people doing the best jobs. And if you haven't been doing a good job, every single manager who hasn't been doing a good job is gone. All the coaching staff are starting to leave. Players who haven't quite cut it at Man United, they leave.
Bad deals.
Bad deals. So, look, I get people who are involved in the club a bit more. Say there was someone from the club watching this would probably say, these guys don't know what they talk about in terms of Ed. If it wasn't for Ed, we wouldn't have secured the I can't remember the people who are on the side of the shirt. Yeah. Collar.
Yeah, collar.
Yeah, we wouldn't have got that deal. We wouldn't have got a new DHL deal. We wouldn't have got the one. I think the wine, is it the aloe wine, whatever it is. There's one with the Ray-Ban glasses. We've got True Religion jeans. We wouldn't have got those things if it wasn't for Ed. And I get that to a certain extent, because that's all he should have been doing. But the fact that he then was overseeing so much, I'm like, nah, I don't see that. I don't see that. Just very, very quickly, peeps. We've got about nearly 600 people watching. Smash the like on the video if you haven't done it. We've only got like 100, less than 150. Come on. Come on, guys.
It's Christmas.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, I just feel like maybe a whole refresh would have been good. But if we're not going to get that and he's going to advise, what's he advising on would be my thing. Ralph's there to do that football thing, and they're there to kind of take his expertise seriously and act on it, because that's what he does. He needs to be listened to. Not, okay, who do you think we should get? What do you think we should do in this situation? Okay, yeah, listen. All right, big up for that, but we're going to do this. If it works like that, then what's the flipping point? Do you know what I mean? You may as well just get him out of there.
And you can give advice without still being on the payroll, being at the club. You know what I mean? You can still give advice. You know, people can call him up. Richard Arnold could give him a call if he's up, you know, he's some other place on another advisory board or what have you. You can still call him up and be like, what do you think I should do here when it comes to these people, this sponsorship, all that kind of stuff. And this is the conversation I have all the time as well about sponsorships. Yeah, Ed Woodward got record sponsorships for Manchester United, but that's because these businesses want to do business with United. But eventually, when Man United aren't the most successful team in world football, which we're not at the moment, they look elsewhere because they'll go, I want to go to the successful club. And I know people say, oh, Man United, you know, the legacy and all that kind of stuff, it will live on forever. And it will. But we've been trading off that for a while now. If you're talking about proper success, was it the highest kit sponsorship deal with Adidas, but I think that's been surpassed by Liverpool. You know, because eventually these brands, if you want to talk about marketing or whatever, these brands eventually they just want to go to the winningest club and the one with the most exposure. And yes, United has huge exposure and huge global fan base, and that won't. But I think it's almost naive to go that will never disappear. You're talking about if you don't win anything for a couple of generations, you know, things can happen very quickly. It's already nearly been 10 years since we won the league. So again, it's great. You made great sponsorship deals, but whereas you're still playing football at the end of the day, you're still playing football. I know they treat it as a business. Exactly. Success on the pitch breeds
the most money. Yeah.
Exactly.
I just honestly, I just feel like I just want to get things right. I really do. I really, really do. I just want things to be in the right order. Is that hard? Is that hard? Do you know what I mean? Like, come on. There are reports as well about Man United going for Boubacar Kamara as well, of Marseille, defensive midfielder, playing out there in Liga in January as well. So, you know, we're seeing a lot of names linked with us in terms of that defensive midfield position. Do you think now, just in general, just to sum this up, do you think we actually will go and get one now? It seems like such a like we've been asking for one for so long. Will we go and get that? And on top of that, this defensive midfielder that we've needed all along, is it to play alongside Fred and release Pogba, or is it for Pogba to play? Is the long-term goal for Pogba to play alongside someone else who's better than either McTominay or Fred? Because Fred's actually doing his thing right now.
I didn't know. I mentioned this last night in that I think we're almost looking for a different kind of defensive midfielder now as well. The defensive midfielder we were looking for in the summer, I think, is different to the defensive midfielder we're looking for now.
Interesting.
Because in the summer, in Ollie's formation, it was the 4-2-3-1, and I think he was looking for
1 second. Carry on. My door is
Christmas
going.
Deliveries. Christmas deliveries. It's another chair. It's another chair coming. No, I think it's we're looking for a different type of number 6 in that the number 6 that Rangnick is looking for, you know, energy, win the ball back, and then release it very quickly. Whereas Solskjaer was looking for something a little bit different. And I think I mentioned before, part of the problem we have now is that with the 6s we've got Fred and McTominay that can do that role in the way that Rangnick wants it. But who is the other defensive midfielder we got at the club? Nemanja Matic, he can't do that role. Nemanja Matic can't do that role in the way that Fred and McTominay can in Rangnick's system. Donny van der Beek played as a different kind of 6, a deeper 6 against young boys. And I don't think he didn't set the world alight in that performance either. So as I mentioned last night, I think we're looking for another 6 in January, just because we need some more legs there. because Fred and McTominay, one of them is going to be just energy, or eventually one of them's going to get injured. And what, you're going to play Matic? Is that 6?
Well, we need. I mean, in terms of defensive midfielder, I don't think it's as simple as just break up the play and give it to the good players. You know, the players who can make things happen, like a John Obi Mikel. And I know I'm not saying we need a player of. Yeah, but do you know? But do you know what I mean?
You'd say that at all?
No, obviously, you can say Makelele, SN. I know that, but Mikel I'm just gonna get it and just give it to them lot.
Yeah.
Give it to Lampard. He can do so. I'm gonna give it to Ballack. He can do so. Do you know what I mean? And I'm not saying we need. Please do not think I'm trying to say we're getting John Obi Mikel. Context is key here. Like, I'm talking about, we do need someone who isn't just gonna can't do anything with the ball but tackle and just give it. Like, because before people were saying that, and this is an interesting point. We need a defensive midfielder, but what is the definite midfielder that we need? Because we've got McTominay and Fred, who together don't complement each other, but Fred's excelling right now. Fred's doing all right. But then there was talks at one point that we need like a Ruben Neves type, like a straight central midfielder who can do a bit of everything. Then it was like we need an Ndidi.
I think that's more of an Ruben Neves. I think is what Ollie was looking for, more of a deep line playmaker, defensive midfielder. I think what Rangnick is looking for.
But he ain't got legs; he can't get about a pitch.
Yeah, I think Rangnick is looking for basically a box-to-box midfielder that plays a bit deep. I think that will win the ball back, but it'll also arrive in the box and maybe chip in with goals as well. So that's why I say I think he's looking for different kind of sixes to what Ollie was looking for.
Digimon14 says, what about James Garner? Every loan club he goes to, he performs. Technically good, but seems to be forgotten about. He went to Watford for a few months. Didn't quite work out there. They sacked Ivic and then got Cisco. And then he didn't really get a chance. Then they went up. He got sent to Forest after that, didn't he? And then was doing all right and is still doing all right. I don't know. I just don't think he's up to the level. I think it's time to stop in that position. Me personally, I think it's time to just go and buy what we need. Like we've got an academy graduate in Scott McTominay who we tried to make that, and my God, has he had enough time to prove it to us from Jose all the way through to now, and he's done well. He's done well in certain aspects of it and not so well in certain other bits. So I think to go and get James Garner, who's really untried and untested at this level, I just think, nah, not for me. Go and get a youngster who maybe is played at a higher level. And they don't even need to be young. They could be in their prime. It's a massive risk. Yeah.
It'd be a huge risk, especially when like we said, with United, money isn't really a massive issue. We do have the money to spend on the players. So I think that looks to be the thing that United are looking for, isn't it? And I would be very surprised.
Frank Kessie. Yeah, he was when we played against AC Milan, he was good. Just again, it's almost like a multifunctional midfielder with intensity. They need to be able to box to box. They've got a good engine in them. They can get forward. They can get into tackles. They're decent on the ball. They can distribute the ball quickly and effectively. Good range of passing. And you know what? Can arrive late. You know, Fred's movement and timing of runs is actually pretty good. He arrives in situations where I know we do the thing of, oh God, Fred, don't shoot sort of thing. But that's come from him consistently getting into good positions for us, but can't quite add that finishing touch because the shooting's not quite there. But other than that, Fred's good. Honestly, I've stuck by Fred a lot. Fred is a good player. Fred is a good player, man. I'm not having this Fred's pony. He's crap. I've never thought that. And
I think Frank Kessie, to change the point, I think is a proper option. I would have said, it might be difficult to get him, but isn't his contract's expiring?
I think he's very gettable. Yeah.
So, I mean, I saw a thing. Did you see the thing last night? He scored for AC Milan in like the last minute, and then it was chalked up for VAR. And
he was the player was on the floor. That was bullshit.
Yeah, it was ridiculous.
Don't even get me started on. I know it's a different country, but I'm not in the mood for VAR.
Yeah, I know.
Interesting though, because Demar says Flex Klopp gave a debut to a teenager last night. Yeah, Morton, he played quite well as well in a massive game. Our youth need a chance too. I get it. I do get it, and I think we are giving youth a chance. We are where we can, but we're not. I think it's easier for Klopp to bring in kids into his system, and his system and a winning side, a really well drilled side. We're trying to build. I think we need experienced players, intense players who have kind of been there and done it at quite a high level for a while now. And then you can start drip feeding in youngsters. We brought in Mason Greenwood into Carnage. You know, we brought Marcus Rashford through in Carnage. You know, we've done that.
The Rashford thing was just mistakes after mistakes. Martial gets injured. Rashford's on the bench. And eventually he comes on. At the time, we were just having massive troubles with injuries. Who's to say he would have even got a chance in the first place? You know, it's crazy how all of that happened. I think
down the door like that.
I think with the Liverpool thing, like we were saying, I think it's different because you're going into a winning side, a well-drilled side full of
McTominay's another one, sorry, as well.
10 other, professionals that know exactly what they're doing, elite professionals that know what they're doing, that can carry a younger player through the game if they need any part of it. We need someone to come in that can hit the ground running, and we need to win. We can't afford any more slip-ups this season. We're already off it a little bit anyway. And that's just scrape top 4. And there's only one spot available. We ain't getting like third unless Chelsea are really going to drop off it even more. So I just, like you said, I don't think now's the right time to be like, well, maybe we should take a chance on Ghana. You know, maybe that's something, that's for something in the summer where you've got your squad and it's a case of we've got this defensive midfielder we brought in January, and maybe Ghana can be a bit of a backup, or we can try and blood him in then. Right now, as you said, it's firefighting at the moment for Rangnick. I mean, results, it's just results.
Big up to Digimon though, who did put that comment. It is an alternative view. Excuse the pun, but I like that. I like that.
And again, I don't think it's a million miles off. I don't think it's a million miles off.
Like Lander's going to come through as well. He looks like he's favoured under Ralph in the summer. Exactly. So I do like that. It was a different way to take the conversation. I appreciate that. Ali says, enjoying the show. Keep up the good work. 100% Ali. We're enjoying it too, man. We are growing. On that note, if you haven't hit the subscribe button, we're on our way to 42k, 92k. We're on our way to 92k. So smash the subscribe button if you haven't done already. Thanks for watching, guys. Good show. A lot to get our teeth into there. And we will be live with any news that comes out of this Premier League meeting that is scheduled to take place in around about 10 minutes-ish. And we want to see what's going on there. 1 p.m. the Premier League is going to meet. Something's going to happen. Either carry on or stop. There's only 2 options. Yeah. So there'll be something to report on that as well. And we'll be live with that breaking news whenever we get that as well. So guys, smash a like on the video. Nice little lunchtime catch up with yourselves. We will be back probably shortly, as we get more news on what's happening in the Premier League. We are out of this. See you lot very soon. Peace.